Hey, welcome to another episode of Legion Elite Motorsports. I'm your host, Isaiah. And today we're going to continue with our yellow quest, Starquest help. And it's pretty interesting, some of the mods that's going on this car. So let's jump into it and see what's what. All right, we're back at it. And so what we're going to do is we're going to start taking off all of the plumbing. So all of these intercooler pipes are coming off. And we're going to start there. And I want to pull out this intercooler. It probably needs to be cleaned and serviced. And some of these pipes probably are corroded, cracked, and God knows what else. So we're going to pop that off, and yep, we're gonna take it from there. So flathead all throughout. For the intercooler, you see there is a bolt right there and over here, but of course blocked by all of the plumbing. So I'm gonna start ripping it off, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, we have all of the piping out of the way. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but the tabs for the intercooler are bent upwards. So it's hitting here and all of this extra damage. So what I'm gonna end up doing is I'm going to pull the front bumper off, and then it'll give me access to the mounting tabs, which I have to take off, and everything else. So we're gonna get started on that. Okay, so I can't even really give you guys a full tutorial of how to take the bumper off because this one is very damaged. But I will tell you that there are 2 screws per side. As you can see there, 1 and 2, 1 and 2. And then you have to disassemble the fog lights. And now that the front bumper's off, we have access to the bolts, and we can actually take it off from here. So 2 bolts that hold on the intercooler, and we should be good to go from there. All right, so the intercooler is out. A little bit of damage on the back, extremely dirty. Probably ran without a filter or something like that, and extremely bent. That's not the way it's supposed to be. So if we look here at the car, I would have to say that the previous owner probably jumped the curb, because the intercooler was smashed up into here. You see the dent here? That is definitely from the intercooler smashing up into it. So, not leaking. I'm gonna let the owner know about it. Also, the tabs are bent up. So I'm going to have to bend these back down and also eliminate the center one so we can put in a new intercooler, or new to this car. So instead of getting another factory intercooler, we got this one right here. But it will definitely serve the purpose. So we got this one on here. So we put the 2 bolts back on. Okay, so we have the bumper up. It's not bolted on all the way. It just has the 2 bolts in the rear, which has a nice feature where you could slide it on and off. So I have it pushed all the way back just to see the clearance, and everything looks really good. So moving on, there's more stuff I have to take out. So I'm gonna remove the battery. That's definitely gotta come out. And I'm gonna start removing this intake manifold. That definitely has to come out. Alrighty, so explaining some of what is entailed of taking off the intake manifold. So, we've taken loose the fuel feed, the return, the hose for cooling, all of the plugs. This one is the coolant temperature sensor for the computer, and then this is the one for the gauge. We got TPS right here, injector plugs, of course, idle air over here. We are going to leave, let me see if I can find it, the air conditioning plug, which is this guy right here. We're gonna leave that one connected. We're gonna disconnect the distributor, which is this one here. And I'm gonna show you guys why in a little bit later. Then on the back side, you have coolant hose from the bottom to the top. Then you have vacuum for your brakes. And then have to take off the dipstick, not out, but just off the manifold. And then after that, we should be go to take loose all of the bolts holding the intake manifold on, and it should pop right off. And out with the old, which I spoke to the owner, this unit is for sale. But out with the old and with the new. Yes, sir, multi-port. Now, there's a lot of modifications that's going to be needed in order to make this thing fit, especially keeping the air conditioning. But it is in there. Oh, yeah, there's still some weld on the inside. It needs lots of cleaning up. Hopefully I should be able to get this thing to fit. There's a lot of areas I have to trim down. And, yeah, just gonna try to make it fit. So I'm gonna take this back out as best as I can. We're gonna have to close this off, including this one. And oh my, it's just a lot of cleanup. But it's a start, and we'll kind of take it from there. But she is going MPI, so I'm going to show you guys exactly how to button everything up so you'll be able to go MPI yourself. So we're going to take this out because, of course, we're not using the original computer, which is the brains of the operation. We're gonna be slotting in a Microtech. Let me bring you over to that real quick. So we're gonna be installing this one here. And it's used, so I might have to change some settings and whatnot, but hopefully all goes well. But we have to wire that in. We're gonna have to relocate the battery, which is the reason why it's out. Also, I wanted to show you guys something. You see how it has the 2 bolts there, and then covers the oil from coming out. Now, a lot of people put, you know, the flange that's flat like that, not realizing that this is actually recessed more than the actual intake. So it's going to pour oil from there. So I'm also going to show you guys how to remedy and repair that when you go MPI. But before we do that, we are going to start running harness and other things. So when you are running harness, you're going to use this grommet right here, this one right here. So we're going to cut this out And make sure we remove this wire from the grommet. Okay, so we got the grommet out, as you can see there. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna run the wiring harness through there. Okay, and as you can see, grommet's out, wires in. So we're gonna leave that off to the side for right now. And you can see inside the car, you have the computer sitting right there. Okay, so if you look in here, that pool of oil is being stopped by that plate right there. So what we're gonna do is empty that pool of oil out, and we're going to close it off with silicone that is oil proof. This is how I have it in my silver car and hasn't spilt a drip yet. So we're gonna do that to this one also, and it will eliminate this cover completely. So we can leave that open, and basically you're going to buy one tube and you're gonna use one tube. So that's how that's gonna go, and take it from there. Also, filling up that hole will keep that additional oil, even though it's not that much, but that additional oil in the oil pan where it should be, instead of collecting right there. So that's always a plus. Okay, so we cleaned out the oil there, and we're gonna fill it on up. So first, we're gonna take off the cover, which is two 12mm bolts, and then we're going to final clean inside of there, and we're going to fill it up with silicone. Okay, so as you can see here, this area, it could collect many things for you, and you definitely don't want that. So we're gonna put the cap back on it and fill it up. Okay, and we are going with ultra black, and let's put it in. All right, so we got a paper cover on the outside to make sure nothing drips out. And then in here, doesn't have to look pretty, but we have it all over the hole. So the hole is no longer a hole, it's actually a little higher than the surface, which is good. Make sure you don't get any on the valve spring, and this lobe here is not going to be used. This is actually for the non-turbo, I think it's fuel pump for the carburetor version. So if you get a little bit on this, not gonna change anything, and it's not gonna affect anything. So you're good to go there, and we just wait 24 hours for this to dry, and that's it. But if you want, you can take like a piece of cardboard or something to kind of flatten and even it out, and maybe even a napkin, and just kind of make it flush. And yeah, that'll be good to go. Just make sure you don't get none on the valve spring, and you're good to go. Okay, and next we're gonna try to figure out this contraption. Alrighty, so let's start up here. All right, so this needs to be plugged off. This needs to be cut because that's jabbing the distributor. These are threaded, so that's perfect. I have to get a gasket for this guy, which should be no problem. And we're gonna have to do a TPS for this guy. Let's see what else we got. Then I have to figure out a water spout for this one. And after that, I'm going to have to shave some of this down here. Shave some of this down over here. Yeah. And then, let's see. Gotta make sure the temperature sensor fits in here. And hopefully that should be it. Okay, and as you can see, we got this mounted. All right, and then I'm gonna take this back down, see what the deal is with the TPS, and take it from there, because I don't think this is original mounting plate, so we're going to take that piece off. Okay, just what I thought. It is some sort of aftermarket adapter. Not sure what TPS this is, but we're gonna stick with the original TPS and take it from there. All right, so that's done. Now I'm gonna take the coolant temperature sensor off of here, this guy right here, see if it fits into this guy. So we'll be back. Okay, a nice deep 17 removes it, and it looks like it fits perfectly. All right, so that's on and tight. We're gonna use this for the computer. Okay, so put this thing together. It has some weird contraptions. So I'm gonna loosen this center bolt and turn this one sideways, and hopefully we can get some kind of conjoining system going on here. And I'm gonna get longer bolts here, and yep, I believe that's gonna be our apparatus. I don't know what the concept was, but we'll make it happen. All right, so I'm gonna take this loose, turn it sideways, get longer screws, and we should be good. All right. Okay, so we got a fitting for this one. This is the water neck. We got the air neck that's covered. We got the block off plug here. I still have to cut this piece off and block that off. I got these ridiculously long screws, and then once I get the injectors in here, I'm gonna cut them to length, and then that'll be good there. And last but not least, we got the throttle body set up and ready, and what we're gonna do is we're going to test fit to see exactly what else needs to be modified and take it from there. So stay tuned, we're gonna slide this on and see what's what. Okay, so this is pretty much what we have ended up with, which is not too terrible, but is terrible. Only things I have left to do is see if I could fit a TPS in here, which I'm extremely doubtful. So we're gonna see what we can and cannot do and kind of take it from there as far as the TPS is concerned. Very hard to get this manifold in. Took a while, but I got it in. The fuel rail situation, I am going to perfect that as soon as I get the injectors and start connecting everything, but I think I might be able to make it work. So let's take this back out, and we have a lot more stuff to do. So we're gonna finish getting the parts for the intake manifold, and while I wait for those parts, we're gonna dive in on the rest of the items that need to be taken care of. So yes, we'll jump on that. Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time. We got a lot more to do on this car. So I'll see you for the next episode. Make sure you hit that bell icon and subscribe, and I'll see you next one.